go ahead and introduce yourself. We're going to talk about white labeling, how to run it, how to do it effectively. Steven, go ahead.
How you doing, guys? I hope everyone's well. My name's Steve. I'm from a company called Globital. So we are a white label wholesale partner. We call ourselves a resource partner, basically. So our space in the market is we're a digital agency for digital agencies. So we provide that sort of service. And what I'm going to take you through today, I had a great chat with Alex, and obviously I know it's a pretty popular topic in the digital agency space of getting support and resource support for your agency. So, but obviously with what I do, we meet a lot of agencies who go through the everyday struggles, and everybody's been there. We all have very similar frustrations, and we know how challenging it can be to run a digital agency. So one of those I'm going to take you through today very briefly is the 5 questions you can ask, or you should be asking a retail partner if you're partnering up with a digital agency. So let me just share my screen quickly. And Alex, thanks for having me. I mean, it's really exciting to be here and to present to your guys and your team. And by all means, I think we hit on it a little bit there if you guys caught what we were saying in the beginning, is we know that people are webinared out, and it's an exhausting thing. And if you guys, I very much am of that opinion. If you guys have questions, or you want to jump in and ask something or say something, or something hits home, by all means, I'm sure you can put up your hand, whatever. Alex will put you up on the floor, and you can ask away. Not a lecture. I'm not a lecturer. I'm not a professor. So hopefully this is very practical as well. I think it also hit on with what Alex was saying about. I want you to come out of this going, hey man, I'm going to write these questions down. If you want, obviously, to have a conversation after this, we will do that. We've made available, by the way, Alex, I've spoken with Hayley, who's my assistant, and we've made available a bunch of vouchers for all the Blur 10. So if you guys are interested in trying us out, we've got some vouchers for you as well. So you can try us out risk-free. It's a good practice of a resource partner, just by the way, that they're willing to give you, an opportunity to try them out for free. But that's an aside. So the 5 questions that you're going to ask a resource partner and why they're important. So, obviously, just a little bit about me. I work at Globital. I'm the COO of the business. Globital, we're as I say, we're an agency. So we are a digital agency. We do SEO, web design, copywriting, all of those things, but we only do it for digital agencies, other digital agencies. So we're a resource partner to those agencies, and that's our space. And that's what we call ourselves. We white label, or we allow agencies to resell our services onto their clients, and that's sort of what we do. I just realized I think I'm wearing the same shirt here as I am in the picture over there. That was unintentional, I swear. I didn't take that picture today. And if you guys don't mind, I'm just going to refer to some notes. Obviously, I keep a bit of notes for these presentations, just that I hit on all the topics. So what exactly is a white label service provider? Because we all know, we've heard of white label, we know what white labels are, or we think we know what white labels are about. Well, what exactly is it about? And it's not just about having somebody do a bunch of work for you. So, I mean, obviously, and I'm very sure that you guys can put up your hands if this rings true for you, that you've all tried some sort of offshore resource, Fiverr, Updesk. There's a whole bunch of them where you've gone online, you found some resource in a cheap part of the world, and you've said, hey, this is white labeling, this is outsourcing, and you've tried it out. And it's not actually about that. It's not about just finding that resource. It's actually about trust. It's about finding a resource partner or somebody that you can actually trust and work with. Unfortunately, these sorts of solutions like Updesk, like Fiverr in the past have really given our industry a bad reputation. They've led industry going, yeah, I've tried offshore and it just doesn't work. It's cheap, but it just doesn't work. And the reality is it does work if you partner with the right partner, and if you ask the right questions before you get into it. Because I wouldn't blame you for being frustrated or writing off offshoring or outsourcing, as it were.
We lost Steve. Steve, you cut out a little bit. Oh, we lost. There he is. Come back to me, Steve. You're on mute, Steve. You're honest, unmute you.
There you go. Sorry. Apologies about that. Got some. So let me share my screen again. Sorry. Yeah. So it's about, as I said, it's about trust and it's about scale. the reality is that it's also very much about, sorry, let me go back here. It's also about the style of scale that you're actually going to employ. You as an agency owner are probably going to want things done the way that you're doing them, but you need to understand that what's important about outsourcing is the outcome, which means as the agency owners, which is tough for us because we're expert designers, or we're expert at SEO, we're expert copywriters. It's about letting go of some of our processes and some of what we actually love doing in the name of getting the right outcome at the other end. So that's sort of one of the important things about working with a white label service provider or resource partner. So getting into what are the 5 questions that you should be asking. And these are important because when you ask these questions, based on the answers you're getting, you should be able to make a decision about if this is the right partner for you. So the first question you want to ask is, who are your clients? And I see some new people coming in. How are you doing, guys? Thanks for joining us. So the first question you want to ask is, who are your clients? Now, there's a difference between a wholesale client and a retail client. We as a wholesale resource partner, we only work with digital agencies. We do not work with retail clients. So just to put this in perspective, you guys as digital agency owners have clients who are doctors, lawyers, high schools, all sorts of different kinds of people looking for SEO campaigns or web design campaigns, etc. Those are not our clients. We consider that retail. We do not work with those clients. Now, why do we not work with those clients? Specifically because it would be a direct conflict of interest for us as a wholesaler with all these good resources in another country where we can execute very quickly and flawlessly. For us to go after your clients would be a conflict of interest. We would be saying to you as an agency owner, hey, come work with us, we'll help you out, we'll support you, we'll help you scale. And then we'll be going to your clients and saying, hey, listen, jump on board. It's not fair. It's not fair on you and it's not fair on us. So it's something we don't do. The other question you need to think about why you're asking who are your clients is you want to know who the owners of your resource partner. If they have an interest in one of those, if they have their own little digital agency on the side that is competing with you, that's quite an important thing to know about if you're going to trust this person with your clients SEO campaigns or copywriting campaigns or web design. So you want to make sure that you know who the owner's interests are, and they should disclose that to you. This is why you can ask who are your clients and who do you work with. The other reason that we ask this, it's all about focus. The other reason we ask this question is if they have an interest in a digital agency, a normal retail digital agency, or if they have an interest in servicing your clients, their focus is going to be completely wrong. Their focus is going to be on SEO campaigns and results of an SEO campaign. That's what they're going to be thinking about. And what they should be thinking about is, hey, here's a really good digital agency who I'm supporting. And they're coming to me and they're growing. They're starting to get bigger and bigger and they're bringing on more and more clients. My focus should be on keeping an eye on my resources so that when they explode, I'm able to help them explode. I'm not focusing on 1 or 2 SEO campaigns. So that's the first thing. You want to know who their clients are. And don't be afraid to ask that because a lot of you're entitled to ask that before you trust someone with your work. The second question you want to ask is, what are your prices and why? Again, this is actually the most common question we do get is, hey, I want to know how much a blog costs. I want to know how much an SEO campaign costs. Quite a difficult question for us to answer because there's a whole bunch of different SEO campaigns and websites and all that. But don't be afraid to ask your resource partner, what are your prices and why? Now, there's no right or wrong answer here, but what is important is that they should have a justification for those prices. So you want them to be able to answer, hey, this is what we charge and why we charge it. Obviously, a resource partner, if their business is scalable and if they're able to scale themselves, they're probably going to be using offshore resources. And that means using resources probably in India or Pakistan. I mean, our team's in Pakistan, for example. But our team in Pakistan is our team in Pakistan. It's 150, 200 guys and girls sitting at desks every day. They come into work. They're full-time employed by the business. They're not Fiverr employees or freelancers. We have a team. We have a proper team. And the way we're able to execute is because we do use offshore resources, but they follow our process. I'll get into processes now. But it's important that you're able to understand what their prices are and how they can justify those prices. Some resource partners will be expensive. Some will be cheap. And there's no right or wrong. What their business is their business, but their price point should be set at a price that allows you as a retail digital agency owner to put a margin on top of their products and sell it on at a profit. That's essentially why you're working with a resource partner. You're not just working to get a result. You're working to scale your agency and to grow. So that's quite important. Obviously, some agencies don't work well with a resource partner. The pricing is too much, or the pricing is sometimes too cheap, and they just don't trust them. You need to get to the bottom of this. And the other question, as I say there, is about how do they scale themselves? So if you, I mean, a lot of you guys sitting in the room are probably owners of pretty good, well-sized digital agencies, and you're talking to a client at any given stage. That client could turn around and say, hey, listen, I'm launching a new website and I need 100 pages written for the website, or I need a brand new SEO campaign and I've got a budget of $10,000 or $20,000, a nice sizable amount of money. Does your resource partner, are they able to take that project immediately and serve you as a resource partner? Are they able to scale their team to a size immediately that meets the needs of your agency? Because you guys might lose that job if your resource partner turns around and says, oh, give me a month or two, I've got to get my team in order. Your client will be gone and you'll lose out on that. And that's something that you need to know. How do they actually allow for scale themselves? Then the next question you want to ask, obviously, is quality control. Now, this is a big one because, as I alluded to in the beginning, the likes of Fiverr, Updesk, these kinds of websites in the past, in these regions of the world as well, have given the digital industry quite a bad name. You know, we tend to see, I mean, put your hand up if you, I'll ask you this way, if you didn't this week yet receive an email offering you link building or cheap blog writing in your inbox. It's a pandemic. Sorry, it's maybe a bad word to use at the moment, but it's a pandemic in our industry. It is like, it's continuous. We are, and believe it or not, we as a wholesaler, we get those people coming to us saying, hey, I'm in India or I'm in Pakistan, can I do some link building for you? Can I write some blogs? And we turn and say, well, when you do, if they do find us, we'll do reply. Mate, that's what we do. And we do it better and cheaper than you. Like, it's a pandemic. But quality control is so important in our industry because it's what you guys, and this is how we view it. We're a digital agency supporting your digital agency. You are going to pass that work that we do onto the hairdresser down the road or onto your lawyer clients. And they want to see quality. They don't want to see some third world Pakistan writing or something like that. So it's something that quality control is very important in this industry. You need to know, it's about building trust. It's about saying, hey, when you ask a question like this to your resource partner, you're saying, make me trust you. Make me confident that you're not going to let me down or let my clients down. And that's why, for example, as I say, we'll make some vouchers available to you guys if you're interested to try us out, because that's a way of us saying, hey, trust us. If you don't like what you see, then you can make your way off and it hasn't cost you anything. But this is the kind of attitude that we try to breed in the industry. We're on a campaign here to change the whole industry and to make it a better place and make it viewed a little bit better. So it's about making people trust you. The other thing about quality control, which is key to what we do, is process. Now, as I said, you've got a team offshore and they're following a process on basic on-page fixes for an SEO campaign or building a website on WordPress or Squarespace or whatever it is. Our team follows our processes, our first world processes. Our processes were built in the first world in Australia and South Africa. We pass them on to our team. We've got a director of operations in Pakistan who ensures, and obviously we use first world softwares, monday.com, but the basic softwares to make sure that these teams are following first world processes. Process is so important because you as an agency owner want to know, if you're going to scale, you want to know that every time you hand over an SEO campaign to your resource partner, that you are going to have this exact same experience every time. Expectation management is very important. So adherence to process and keeping those processes followed is key to that relationship, is key to building that trust. The last thing about quality control to think about is guarantees. Now, you can't guarantee results. We can't guarantee results. We don't guarantee results. But believe it or not, we do have guarantees in our business, specifically on SEO. I know it's crazy to think about how you guarantee SEO. We don't guarantee results. We can't do that. We can't guarantee that we'll take on a lawyer's SEO campaign or a florist's SEO campaign and we'll get the result. We can't do that. What we can do is we guarantee the return on investment. So provided that the agency is following, and this is, I suppose, the level of sophistication that a good resource partner gets to is when a client signs up with us, an agency signs up and signs through a client with us, we say to them, hey, listen, I'm going to do this SEO campaign for you. Here's our recommendations. You need to have a blog post written every month, at least one or two. You need to get these on-page fixes done. You need to get some links built. provided that agency is doing everything that we recommend to them to allow our team to get the right result for them, we'll make guarantees. We'll get them a return on their investment. It might take us a bit longer because of the competitiveness of the industry or whatever it is, but we will get them that result. And that's when a resource partner says to you, hey, I'll give you a guarantee that I'll get this. We might not get you the results, but we'll get you the return on your investment, your client's investment. So you're talking to someone who's got that process there and that knows what they do. The next one is communication. Now, this is quite a big one because obviously the communication is very important. One of the things that we always say in our business when we're signing up a new agent, we're getting them going on our portal, is we say, you need to treat our team as an extension of your own team. We make it very clear to the agency that we are not a switch on and leave solution. We are not here's my blog, I'll see you in a month, get it written. That's not how we operate. We operate very much on imagine our team, think of our team as an extension of your own. They're sitting in the car in the hallway down the way, and you can poke your head in any stage, say, hey, how's it going on that blog? How's it going on that website? That's how we operate, because that gets the agency to buy in and it gets our team to buy in, and they work collaboratively as a team. The other thing about this is emails don't work. So if any resource partner you're working with and they're saying, hey, we'll just email you, it's not going to work. Emails get lost. Emails, unfortunately, is not as good as they are. They're not where it needs to be. You need to have some sort of communication tool. We use Basecamp, for example, and that's our platform. But there's various tools that you can use. Skype is obviously another one, but that's used for outside the Basecamp project. Every project we do has a specific platform, a project basis on Basecamp that we use. And the other one is customer support, which is really important. This has been the one that has completely revolutionized our business in the last 2 to 3 years, is the introduction of a customer support team, customer experience team. And why? Because it allows for the escalation of processes immediately. This is how we did a little tip, if you guys are interested in how we found success doing this, is we saw the need for customer support. We saw the need for immediate turnaround and answers to queries. What we did was we farmed within our operations teams. We pulled out A players in those teams and we put them into a team together in the customer support team. They're all ex-operations and they all know our processes back to front. So a client would come in and say, hey, what's going on with my website? Can you guys find out for me? That guy would get off his ass, walk over to the web design team, poke his head in, say, guys, I've been in this team. I know how things go. What's going on with this project? I need to get feedback to this client. And it absolutely revolutionized our business because it allowed us to get that immediate answer and improve the experience that our agencies were having with us. And at the end of the day, it's very much about the experience. What kind of a life are we allowing those agencies to live if we're able to give them immediate answers and things? So that was quite important, and having that customer support team. I know it's not easy in agencies often to have that customer support team, but I really urge you to think about what can you do to make your clients' lives a little bit better, a little bit more immediate on some of the queries they have. And then the last question that I want you to think about to make sure you ask is, will I get tracked? And this is quite important because you sign up with a resource partner, maybe you're going to get into a relationship with them for a year or two, potentially, or even longer. What happens when you decide that you want to move away from that partner? Are you now locked into that partner? Do they have are they hosting everything for you? Have they set up all the passwords and they've got everything for you or your client that you're doing the website for or the SEO campaign for? You need to ensure flexibility for your clients, for your business. You need to ensure flexibility that you're able to leave if the relationship goes sour or if your business changes. Maybe you sell the business to a new owner and they want to leave that resource partner. You need to ensure flexibility, and that's where obviously ownership comes in. It's about who owns the access to that website, the SEO campaign, the logins, the actual relationship with the end client. Who owns that relationship? We, for example, don't lock in any of our clients in any way. We don't do lock-in contracts. There's no 6-month, 12-month contract. We don't do that. We do month to month. If an agency decides that they want to move away or they sell the business or the client cancels the campaign, is another big one. You guys I'm sure you're used to signing up a 6-month SEO campaign. What happens if after 2 months, your client says, no, I'm good. I'm going to cancel the campaign. You're now locked into a resource partner who said, oh, we've signed you up for 6 months. You've got to pay us. It's not fair. That's what cripples agencies. That's what throttles agencies and makes them fail. We try to not do that. And also the exit strategy. The last thing is the exit strategy. How do you, if you do want to move away, how do you do that? We don't, as a resource partner, we are white label, and that means that we're behind the scenes. We do not have any relationship whatsoever with your clients. And that's important because, again, that goes back to the first point about what is the interest of the owners in the digital industry. If you guys are working with us and you introduce us to your clients, not only are we now managing 50 clients because that's who you've got, but we're also now exposed to 50 of your clients. And if one of our managers or one of our owners has an interest in a digital agency, they can go approach those clients. It doesn't work. It makes it very, very dangerous for you as an agency owner. So that's it. I mean, those are the 5 questions that I think are most important for an agency to ask before they start work with a resource partner. And don't be shy to ask those questions. I think it's they will give you the answers to those questions. Also, will give you a good feeling for, is this the right fit for my agency? And can I work with them? Can I move away? That's my spiel, guys. I mean, I'd love to have questions if there are any. If you guys have any questions you'd like to ask, or anything that's not clear, you want to just weigh in. If you've had experiences you want to share.
Yeah, Steven, a couple of things that we wanted to get to that I didn't hear that are in the bullet points on the summary of the event. Contracts, what other agencies are charging on various white label services, the margins to expect on those, and operations and SOPs. You did touch on operations and SOPs, so maybe a little more on that. But yeah, definitely what other agencies are charging, how the contract looks, and margins. And then Polkit has a question there as well.
Yeah, I see that question. So the reality is, in terms of other agencies, and it's a tough one because the short answer is I don't know, and we don't prescribe pricing to agencies, and I'll tell you why. There's a bunch of reasons. Number one is we obviously work with agencies all over the world. So for us to make a prescription to an agency in the UK versus an agency in America would be completely off. And also another thing is, because you guys know better than anyone, you guys are all agency owners, you guys know better than anyone that no 2 agencies are the same. So you can't possibly expect to charge the same or put your pricing at the same rate as another agency and expect the same result. We all work in different niches. We all have different lead generation strategies. We all target different kinds of leads, and that in a big way does dictate how you should be setting your pricing. I do have another presentation. If you guys are interested, by all means, I'd be happy to share you. It's an ebook that I can share with you that will help you work out some of your pricing strategy. But just to be a little bit more helpful on this, what we generally do, and again, it's not a prescription because no 2 agencies are the same. We don't prescribe, but if rubber arm is twisted, we turn around and we say, listen, we charge $45 for a blog. I think it's about $45 for a blog. You as an agency should be charging about 100% markup on that. There's just to put things in perspective of why we can't prescribe. There's agencies that I speak to all the time that turn around and say, you guys charge $45 a blog. That's too expensive for me. All right, cool. Off you go, mate. I'm sorry, we can't help you. That guy's running an agency that's doomed to fail, because he's charging too little for, and this is a US agency or a UK agency. That agency is doomed to fail, unfortunately, because he or she is charging too little for their work. They're undervaluing their resources. We can afford to do that. We use South African copywriters here. So obviously South Africa, weak rands, we can afford to do that. You need to be able to put your prices, and this is one of those, I mean, it's not the point, the purpose of this webinar now to discuss this, but it's one of the things that most agencies struggle the most with is, how do I charge a good amount that makes me money and is going to get me to a size where I'm a 7-figure, 8-figure agency, but also not scare away all my clients. When I do a pitch, every time when I get to pricing, they all disappear. And as I say, I can give you guys some outside help with that. We've got an ebook that I'm happy to share with you guys. That can maybe, and it's quite technical. It's done by my partner Damo, who's the CEO of the company. It's quite technical and help you get that pricing right. Unfortunately, to compare 2 agencies' pricing to each other is impossible. You should have your competitors. You guys should know who your 3 or 4 main competitors in your region or in your niche are. And you should be able to compare your pricing with them and be comparative with them. But that's obviously another conversation.
Yeah, and I think, go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say, so, obviously, yes, everybody has different prices. And the way I've heard successful white labeling transitions happen is you'll have your core competencies, your value for your clients as an agency, right? You're either really good at operations and clients just love working with you because things happen on time and they're streamlined and it's just awesome. Or maybe you're super creative and they come to you because you can take them to the next level creatively. Or maybe you're just really good at sales and you just crush it on sales and maybe you outsource everything. But either way, no matter what services you're offering and what your core competency is, you can take some of the productized versions of what you're building in the future and white label those as an aspect of lead generation, essentially. So what I'm saying is, like, hypothetically web development, right? Okay, you're talking about web development. So I've seen agencies, instead of saying, hey, we'll white label the web development and we'll just sell you a website, some do it successfully, yes, but I think the transition would be something more like, we've got this really awesome audit that's $500 and we white label the crap out of that because it's just going in and running reports on different things, packaging it up in a certain format. Great. The audit is white labeled. When the website is built, we want to fill that with keyword focused content. This is lightweight content that just gives the website a foundation and put some keyword silos together. That's all white label, right? So platforms and products and white label agencies can do that. Or maybe you want to make all of your websites compliant. The compliance is, we want to implement an ADA compliance widget and we want to implement GDPR compliance. That can all be white labeled, right? Those kinds of things. Then you as the agency stick to what you're good at, which is streamlining operations, being super creative, and sales, right?
Yeah.
So pick out what you can white label and productize it. And then you can go as far as to put the pricing on the website. So this is a productized product. It's $500. It includes all this. And that's where you can start with me as the agency. Yes, it's white labeled. You don't say that, but that is your lead generation strategy, right?
Yeah. So. Yeah, and I think what you're hitting on there is quite important, because some of the things that I'm the first to put up our hands and say we are really great at what we're great at. We don't bite off more than we can chew. And I'll give you an example. We do not do video production. Our team is in Pakistan and they do the SEO, web design, PPC, social media, etc. We're not about to start working with a US agency in Miami who turns around and says, hey, I want you to produce a video for me and whatnot. We don't know that agency's brand or that client's brand. It's just something that we would not take on as a product. So I get your point though, is that it's exactly that. It's about taking those products and saying, how can I offload that to somebody who can do it for me at a reliable rate, and then I can get back to what I'm great at. And that's, at the end of the day, not only is it something that you as an agency owner want to do because it's what you're great at, but it gives you enjoyment in your agency. And the more enjoyment you have, the happier your team is, the more likely you are to grow and scale. The further you're going to get as an agency. And that's, in a way, what we want to do is we try to help agencies to get rid of that time-consuming and expensive local stuff and get it off your hands and move it on. So that's sort of what we do. I think the other question you asked about standard operating procedures and contracts and stuff like that. So we again, I know it's kind of mundane and it's kind of repetitive, but we keep things as simple as possible. We have a very how does a contract or how does a relationship with a white label resource partner like us work? You sign into our portal and you agree to an agreement. It's a standard agreement, and in the agreement, it's a very standard operating procedure kind of agreement that says some of the key things are that we won't operate retail, for example, as I said, because it's competing with you as an agency who can't possibly compete with us if we've got cheaper resources and a much bigger team. And obviously there's a protection, there's non-disclosure, there's confidentiality and all this. So it's a very basic one-off contract. The standard operating procedures, I'm assuming you're referring to specifically each individual type of service. So what is an SOP for SEO and what is an SOP for copywriting? Is that kind of what you're getting at there?
Is that for me? Sorry. Oh, yeah. Can you share insights? Yeah. So, sorry.
So like an SOP for SEO, I'll give you is that the kind of thing like, hey, you're running an SEO campaign. What is your SOP for that?
No,
We have a
it's more for, the white labeling process of it. So like big challenges for white labeling is communication, and maintaining quality, I think, is one of those two that's in there. But I think communication is big, and just making sure like, hey, hypothetically, some of these agencies want to white label themselves for other agencies. So that's part of this too. But what is the SOP? If you want to do white labeling in general, what are some of the things they should know on the procedural side?
So I think the key around that, I mean, obviously it's a tough one because we don't, we're not in the business really of helping other agencies white label their own stuff or do that. But I mean, I that's what we do for those agencies. But I mean, I think I've gone through it in the presentation, and if you stick to those best practices of, communication, like you say, is absolutely key. And ironically, you say communication is key, but and a lot of, I'm sure, and this isn't against any of the agency owners in the room, but you guys all know your heads going, yeah, communication is communication. And my white label guys that I've used in the past, they didn't communicate correctly. Well, they were not good white label people. The biggest issue we have with communication, ironically, is agencies who don't communicate with us. So they will set up a campaign. They will load an SEO project. We'll get into the process of a briefing document and all those things, and we'll get the campaign going after a month or two, and it's going. And all of a sudden, that agency owner will just disappear, and they won't talk to us for a month or two. And all the while, they're responsible for the results of that SEO campaign, or they're responsible for the results of their PPC campaign. So our problem with communication isn't our team. Actually, our team is quite great at it. They stick on top of the agencies, and they follow their standard operating procedures of each SEO campaign runs like this, each PPC campaign runs like that. We have issues with the agency owners not using our team, not coming to our team and saying, hey guys, how's my campaign going? Hey guys, how's my website? Hey guys, can you change this? Can you change that? And that's where our problem with communication. So what I would say to agencies owners and to anybody who's interested in how to work best with an SEO research or with a white labeler, or if they're looking to get that going, is be fastidious about communication. Rather drive a client mad or an agency mad than not communicate enough, over communicate, because those are the ones that the agencies that see the best results with us, the agencies that scale to the biggest with us, are the ones who best communicate. They completely use our team as an extension of their own. And we have a thing as well, beyond just an SEO campaign or a blog writing, we have another solution which we call dedicated resources, which is when an agency is doing enough SEO with us or enough PPC with us, we turn around to that agency and say, hey, listen, man, this is costing you a bit now, and you've got 40 PPC campaigns with us. Let's get you a dedicated resource. Here's your guy. He's going to be 100% there. You're going to switch on your laptop in the morning, and because he's in Pakistan and you in the US, he's already going to have worked 6 hours already, or 7 hours already, and you are going to log on and see all the work he's done. You're going to brief him already. You're going to go to bed, and he's going to wake up. So almost you're taking advantage of the way the world works, but that becomes an extent. And those guys, they fly. Those agencies with us fly. They take to the next level because they've gotten this expert, brilliant resource at an incredibly affordable rate that they could never afford locally in the US. But that's just absolutely killing it for them, because that person's after 6 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years, that person starts living that agency's brand. That person starts becoming a part of that agency. And you couldn't ask for more than that. A person who actually actively cares about growing your agency and taking your clients' work to the next level. Man, it's unstoppable. So, it's about, as I say, it's rather over-communicate. And if you are one of those agencies who tend to forget about, you start with anybody, you start and then you kind of drop off with the communication. Understand that makes it very difficult for the person who's supporting you. From Eric to everyone. So Eric, I see a question here from Eric. I just started dialogue with your agency about website builds. Eric, not a problem. Alex will introduce you to me afterwards. You can find me, obviously.
I'll just put your email, and I think Haley, you can chat a Calendly link in the chat if you want to do that.
Absolutely, 100%, guys. And as I said, we're more than happy. We'll give you a $1,000 voucher to try us out, so you can get an experience, and hopefully get an experience that you haven't done before. Because as I go back to the beginning of the thing, is who here hasn't tried a person in another country, in a cheaper country, for help in their agency. We've all done it. And most of the time, I mean, specifically, I don't know if anyone here is from the UK, but it's one of the definite things we see in UK agencies is, man, are they nervous to try out support from someone? They've all been burned so badly. And we recognize you lose your shirt, you can lose, for some agencies, $1,000, $2,000 is make it or break it. And that's at a time when an agency really needs that money because they're about to go to the next level, whatever. And you partner with the wrong person and it breaks you. So, you want to ask these questions, and I'm more than happy to make the questions available to everyone afterwards as well if you guys want them. But yeah, I think
I got one last one. One last one. So on the strategy, this is a recommendation question from you. So if I'm in a web dev agency, let's go back to that example, and I am that creative agency where I love doing the finishing touches on a site. Yeah. So I could take a site from 70% to 100%. My thought is, in that world, why aren't you white labeling and outsourcing really? But you're outsourcing the first 70% of all your website projects. There's no creative energy necessary in that first 70%. Why isn't that all outsourced?
Dude, do you want a job selling for us, man?
Oh, I'm just thinking about it. Like
you've hit the nail.
I honestly never white labeled when I had my agency. I outsourced, of course, but I mainly outsourced virtual assistant type stuff. I wasn't outsourcing the projects, but at that point, I'm just thinking about like 70% of most projects in general are non-creative.
Oh man,
there's no creative energy necessary.
Yeah, and expensive. And you've hit the nail on the head. Is if you're a web dev company or you're a PPC company or social media company, so this is our elevator pitch in a way. You're a web dev company and you're building 10 websites this month. It's expensive and it's time consuming and it's boring as well to have a US based, very experienced and expensive web developer building those. So I've had that happen to end up getting sued, disappointed. You've got this person doing all that work. Because all that person wants to do is come in and exactly what Alex says is take it 70% to 100%. That's what they do. They're great at that. Get a partner to just do it for you at a cheap rate. It's going to come to you and it's not going to be ready for your clients. It's going to have that 70 to 80%, that 70 to 100% done. You're going to have to do the tweaking and the design, but you're not going to have to build the CSS and the this and the that and the back end of WordPress. All that stuff's going to be done. That's exactly the point. And I mean, when it comes to social media or PPC specialist agencies, we always say this. I mean, we get this all the time. And you'd be surprised how often we have to dig for this information. They don't volunteer this information. PPC or social media. I get a lot of my clients who I do PPC for. They often ask me if I build websites and I just say no. And they're going, why are you saying no, man? Just say yes and invoice them and let our team do the work for you. So it's I mean, you can hear the passion I have for it and the frustration I have for it, I think, as well, because it's one of those things where we really, really want to see agencies succeed. That's what we view ourselves as. We are a nurse. And Haley always laughs at me. We're a nurse sitting at the bedside of a sick person saying, hey, do you need some help? What do you need? Come, let us help you. That's our archetype. That's who we are. And we want agencies to succeed. We bend over backwards to get agencies to succeed. Sorry, I've been missing those questions. Hopefully that helps you.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Yeah. So I just thought about something too. We had this great session on an Upwork lead generation strategy. So if we put this into practice, I think what I would do if I was an agency owner right now, and we're kind of doing this at partner programs, but not in the same way that you guys would, but you would create a few projects with this team here with Steven and Haley, and you would say, okay, what do you guys excellent at and you can run efficiently based on my services? I do SEO, I do PPC, I do XYZ, right? And Steven will tell you, like, we can probably fill these gaps. We can do these as projects. Take those projects, define them really well, and go to Upwork and create your profile on Upwork, have your team create their profiles, put your expertise as those SEO, those keywords, but also the tool-based keywords as well. So WordPress, Webflow, whatever. And start to advertise yourself as open for business for those projects. I'd even go as far as putting them on my website. And those are projects, meaning there's a fee for them. So it's $1,000 and here's what you get. So try to create a few of those with Steven and the team and run that Upwork lead generation strategy exactly as how Nico mentions it. And that could be something where you do, a 6-month litmus test to see, hey, can we source projects off Upwork, then white label the production of those projects effectively, then convert a few of those projects into custom projects that are bigger, right? So you want to take productized projects and convert them to larger custom projects. And if you can, run it the next 6 months and continue growing it. If it fails for you for whatever reason, obviously it's just not going to work out, but that's the suggestion.
Yeah. And just to hit on that as well is, we've obviously, we're quite proactive about, we've actually got a product called the Agency Starter Kit, which we put together when COVID first hit. Pretty quickly, we put it together, and the idea was a lot of people were losing their jobs and they were looking to start their own businesses, their own digital businesses. And zero barrier to entry. They can do it at home, and you can start making money hopefully pretty quickly. Agency Starter Kit, which is a package, is a product we actually have, and exactly what Alex is suggesting there is it's a complete A to Z of starting an agency, which you can use to start any business, whether it's a food business, whatever it is. It includes a basic build of a WordPress 5 to 15 page website, copywriting for the website, some graphic design, some basic SEO, and LinkedIn lead generation. So all over 2 months, you pay, I think it's $1,000 a month. Over 2 months, you pay, within 2 months, you've got everything up and running. So that kind of thing is, if you want to white label that and put that, as Alex has suggested, as a lead generation strategy onto Upwork, you can say, hey, guys, get your business going in 2 months you put, if I say 100% markup on that, for $2,000 a month, let them pay over 2 months the way that we let people pay over boom, you've got a product running that we've already put together for you. And I think going back to what Alex was saying as well about plugging those gaps, that's exactly what we do. If we have an SEO specialist, there might be an agency in the room who's an SEO specialist, and you guys are going, yeah, but I love doing on-page fixes. That's my thing. I'm great at it. Great. Fantastic. Enjoy yourself. But you probably hate doing link building. You probably hate doing content blogs and stuff like that. Man, if you want to keep doing the on-page fixes or the strategy, we don't do strategy because each individual client is different. So we don't do strategy. So continue. Enjoy yourself. Offload the link building, the on-page fixes, the keyword research to us. We'll take care of that stuff for you. If you want to continue doing the keyword research, enjoy yourself. Carry on doing it. We'll just, we'll adjust. So it is about plugging those gaps. We don't want to take. We're not a switch on and leave solution, but we're also not hey, give us everything or nothing. Hey, man, work with us, or we'll work with you. You tell us what you like doing. You love taking your websites from 70 to 100%. Enjoy yourself. We'll build the 70. You love doing the audience for your PPC ads, but you hate doing everything. Cool. We'll set it up for you so that you can just go do the audience and enjoy yourself. That sort of, I guess the flexibility is what I'm saying is, be ready to, you don't want to have an all or nothing solution there either. It's not one of the 5 questions, but it is important. You don't want to have an agency, a white label partner who's going to be demanding of what you do kind of thing.
I love it. This is going to be in an article that we'll post tomorrow with the strategy defined and some of the links that you mentioned. So Steve Haley, send me any links that you want included in there. $1,000 voucher. That's the affirmative offer, it sounds like, from you guys.
Yeah. I see Haley's put the email. Yeah, Haley's put the email address in there, by all means, guys. And I want to also just say thank you again to Alex. Alex, I've been catching up on some of your content that you guys are doing. And I love the community itself. I'm not there, as you said, we're not probably the right people for it. But I caught your TikTok lead generation strategy you did with that other guy. I can't remember what his name was. Man, I really do. Yeah, I really do enjoy your content, and I'm grateful to be part of the community. And I'm always happy to do one of these whenever you guys are ready or need the help. And we've got a bunch of other, the pricing question. I think if you guys want to do one on that, I'm happy to put one. Well, I've got a presentation together. We can do one in the future about how to set your pricing in your digital agency, not just to work with a resource partner, but to just generally set your pricing, how to retain clients a little bit better, sales kind of things. I mean, these are. I'm not going to talk on sales because Alex is clearly the salesman in the room, but I think it's Alex is the best. Eric loves you.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, you guys, you've been awesome, man. I think we got what we needed out of this. We got some answers. We got an actionable strategy. I'm happy. Hopefully everyone
Beautiful.
that watches this is happy. And then contact info and all that stuff will be in the post, but I put, well, Haley put an email there for you, as well as Steven's LinkedIn. So here's the email one more time if you need to reach out.
Awesome. And yeah, cool.
Yeah, let's do it again sometime, man. This was good.
Yeah, hundreds, Alex.
Guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Voucher. Thanks everyone for coming through. I mean, it's